Salutations everyone, this is Razor bringing you guys another Smash 4 video where today we're going to be talking about Bayonetta because she's been getting a lot of articles, a lot of headlines, and a lot of people talking about her recently after Frostbite, where 3 of the top 4 players were Bayonetta. Of course, you had a non-Bayonetta player taking first place with Dabuz winning in Grand Finals winner side 3-1 over Tweak, who has now picked up a Bayonetta. He 3-0'd Mistake, who now just picked up a Bayonetta in losers finals. So, and of course, you know, there's also Salem and Tweak having just more recently using Bayo in tournament, 3-1ing Salem in the Ditto is pretty impressive. Tweak is just insane, he's a god. And although, you know, we've known that Salem isn't that great in the Ditto historically, we just saw a lot of Bayo in this top 8, more so than any other major thus far. So that got a lot of people talking about banning Bayonetta and how frustrating Bayonetta is and how the meta is shifting towards Bayonetta. I mean, we've seen Mistake picked up Bayo, Abadongo switched from Mewtwo to mostly Bayo, still plays the Mewtwo at, you know, at the highest level, and now we have Tweak picking up Bayo, and we saw some tweets from Nairo saying that he's thinking about going home and picking up Bayo because that's where the meta is heading, and I think we might see more top players picking up Bayonetta as well. So, you know, there is definitely more reason to talk about Bayonetta in today's world than when we first talked about the Bayonetta ban back when there was those false reports of countries banning Bayonetta because poor players who just picked up Bayonetta started beating people that they've never beaten and were dominating the scene. Of course, that story was just all kinds of crazy. But now that we're starting to see Bayonetta's doing more and more people picking up Bayo and having more Bayos in top 8 than ever before, a lot of people are talking about it. People are also talking about Cloud, and Cloud has been dominating doubles since the second that he came out in the game. And people are saying that Cloud is way more OP in doubles than Bayo is in singles, and so even more people have a problem with Cloud in doubles. So they're talking about, you know, possible Cloud double bans in doubles, and possible other people talking about possible Bayo bans in singles. Of course, you know, this was not an issue. Bayonetta was out for a long time before she even appeared in a grand finals in a major. And we never ever saw a Bayonetta win a major until it happened at the super major of super majors in Evo of last year, where Salem overtook Zero in 2 sets. And getting that crazy comeback on the final stock there in Game 5. And since then, we've seen a couple of more Bayonetta victories. However, they have all been out of Salem. So Salem was the first Bayonetta to ever win a major, and then, you know, 5 days later, he wins DreamHack Atlanta. So back-to-back wins with Salem, that's a back-to-back major championship with Bayonetta. But then after that, you look down the list: Anti, Leo, Tweak, Nairo, 0, Larry, 0, Mr. R, Leo, Dabuz, and then Salem takes 2GG Fire Emblem Saga. So we went a few months without a Bayonetta rearing its head in a grand finals victory, and of course when it did happen, it was Salem and in a big major once again at Fire Emblem Saga. Then we have 0, 1 DreamHack, and then even if you include the Japanese majors like Umebura 29, Choco won that over Abadongo, you know, a Bayonetta player. And then we have Leo won Canada Cup, Manny won Too Hot to Handle, and then MK Leo's Saga comes out, and Tweak beats everybody. So, you know, we had our first Cloud major win since Low Tier City 5 when Tweak did that. And, you know, people have been complaining about Cloud in singles for a long time as well, but he's only had 2 major victories, including that MK Leo Saga win with Tweak, and then Leo wins IBP Master Showdown, Umebura 30, Choco wins over Abadongo again, and then Super Famicom, Dabuz wins, Salem wins Midwest Mayhem 10, the 2GG Championship of course was won by MK Leo in dramatic fashion, and then Salem wins Smash 4 Boot Camp, Umebura Ken wins over Choco, And then we go into this season, which started at PAX Arena with a Dabuz victory. Genesis and Evo Japan were both won by MKLeo. He hasn't had as many problems against the Bayonetta matchup as he has had a little bit in the past. And then Frostbite, Dabuz wins, and then most recently Nico Tokagi just a week ago, where Nairo won as well. So not a lot of Bayonetta wins at majors, so I think people need to pump the brakes a little bit when they say that Bayonettas are dominating. When we take a look at all of the wins, count them, we got 1 by Salem, 2 by Salem, 3 by Salem, 4 by Salem, 5 by Salem, 0 by anybody else. So out of the hundreds of Smash 4 majors since in the inception, obviously less so since Bayonetta came out, but let's say, you know, the last 75 majors, we've had 5 won by Bayonettas. Nobody was really talking crap about Diddy, even though Zero was winning every tournament with that character, because we didn't see a ton of Diddies outside of Zero in top 8 consistently. You know, we had a little bit MVD towards the end of last year, and a couple of years ago we had a lot of Diddies showing up with, you know, like Zenodo and lots of other people across many different regions, but there just wasn't that consistent Diddy representation in the top 8 outside of Zero, so people weren't complaining so much about Diddy. But, you know, Salem hadn't even won a major, and people, or, you know, any Bayonetta for that matter, and people are complaining about Bayonetta, and then she wins 1 major, 2 majors, and then people start going crazy. Bayonetta has won 2 majors in a row, let's talk about banning her, and then like 4 months go by before Salem wins again at Fire Emblem Saga. Now, I get that there is a lot of vitriol against the Bayonetta playstyle and how incredibly strong she is, because yes, Bayonetta is the best character in the game. That's a little hard to argue against, considering best recovery, has like the 2 best moves in the game, has a frame 1 air dodge that just negates all damage and knockback. That's incredibly insane. You can't edge guard her. She goes insane with rage. She has a million different zero death combos at all kinds of percents. Can kill off the side, off the top at 0, can spike, and you just really can't do a ton against her in a lot of situations. And, you know, the old meme of just SDI, I think, was proven instantly that that's just not wrong. It made, you know, a lot of comments about that, comments of people just saying learn how to SDI. It doesn't matter with Bayo, because if Bayo just makes a read or just gets 1 hit, then it's over. Even if you're SDIing perfectly, Bayonetta can still win. And it's really, it's just not that easy when people want to make that out to be. And it's also really weird in the Smash scene, where people were making so much news about Bayonetta being so strong when she's won, once again, count them, 5 majors. And you take a look at, you know, let's not even talk about Brawl. Let's not even talk about Brawl when Meta Knight was so strong. And, you know, Meta Knight was, you know, 7 out of the 8 top 8 players. But let's just take a look at Melee, where Fox has won every single tournament that Hungrybox hasn't. And Hungrybox has had to do it against, you know, 7 different Foxes usually. You know, obviously there's, you know, S2J or, you know, Wizrobe or Axes or Westballs is in top play. You aren't going to have all Foxes, but it's still going to be the majority of Fox players that are in the top echelons of play for the top players, or really any region, really, because Fox is just by far the strongest character, and is also by far the strongest weakness, or the biggest weakness that Jigglypuff has. That just goes to show how great Hungrybox is. But no one has ever once complained about Foxes winning so many tournaments, or being so many, so having so much representation, because 20XX, it's fun, Melee's fast, blah blah blah. So that's really weird. That's, you know, that's some inconsistency among the Smash fans. But we also have to understand that, you know, Smash 4 and Smash and Melee don't have 100% overlap, and that the interest in Smash 4 as an esport has waned. We've seen that in viewership, you know, a little bit. And obviously with the #1 player dipping out for a while, that's not going to help it. Some people thought it might because it's no longer, you know, an 80% chance that Zero wins a tournament that he's in just because he's so good. But it's also an old game and it hasn't gotten patches. And yes, Bayonetta I think is too strong. I don't think she's overpowered. And you could definitely say that, you know, Fox and Meta Knight had a much bigger impact on their games as far as what characters people could play, as well as you could say that Ice Climbers with Brawl as well, much more of a gatekeeper than Meta Knight, but wasn't winning nearly as much as Meta Knight was. But yes, Bayo is too strong. Just having the inability to be edge guarded, having that glitch triple jump, as well as all those 0 to deaths, which time is insanely strong because all you have to hit is down B, and you have 19 minutes to do whatever you want to any character in the game, regardless of percent or SDI or anything, or weight or fall speed or rage, doesn't matter. Bayo is going to have an option to kill you. It's all a matter of if the player knows what to do or not. And if they drop that combo or get you on that platform or whatever. And having a frame 1 air dodge, Bat Within is the most broken thing in the game. It's a frame 1 air dodge, just you can hit a tipper forward smash with Marth with 100%, 180% on you with rage, and it just won't do anything against Bayonetta because, you know, she air dodged and got Bat Within, you know, the girl BS Within. So there are some broken things about Bayonetta, especially with that triple jump. That is a glitch. That's not something that is designed within the character, whereas, you know, Bat Within and Witch Time is designed to be in the game. That triple jump isn't supposed to be a thing. So obviously we would like for, you know, that to be patched out, and we would like to have her balanced a little bit more. Either, I'm not here to argue what those nerfs should be, whether it's, you know, more landing lag after using more specials, or, you know, change her forward air or up air or back. Her back air is insanely strong. And, you know, I mean, take a look at how much they nerfed Sheik's back air before, you know, back when it wasn't even her strongest kill move or aerial, and then they nerf up throw and up air, which, you know, you only needed to nerf one in order to make that 50-50 not work anymore, but they decided to nerf both. And then you have the other side where there's characters that they should have buffed and they never did, like Jigglypuff received 0 buffs in the 19 years that this game has been out, and you could say that about a lot of other characters, but Jigglypuff obviously the biggest example, being the worst character in the game and receiving 0 buffs from day 0 to day 19 million. But let's focus on Bayonetta here. We would like changes to happen, but we know they're not going to happen. The game has been out for so long and has gone years since its last patch, and its last patch was just a nerf for Bayonetta. So we would like there to be changes. We would like there to be have the game on the Switch and have more characters and more stages, and for the Lilac glitches to be fixed, and give us Fountain of Dreams, or you know, just more fun stages that can be legal and have more variety and have more characters be competitive. Those are all things we would like, right? But that stuff is just not in the cards. It's not gonna happen. I don't see a Switch port happening at this point. Maybe it becomes a downloadable title at one point or another, and I don't know how the DLC would work with that because of licensing issues. But I do not see a remaster like coming out, like, you know, with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, or, you know, even Splatoon 2, which was kind of like a, you know, a real glorified DLC rework remaster as opposed to a true sequel. But let's, you know, not argue that. So, you know, we know the Switch has gotten a lot of ports that have gotten tiny bit of updates, and people have really liked that. I don't see Smash getting that because it hasn't happened yet and Nintendo hasn't said anything about it. The only remark that Nintendo has said about Smash Brothers in the future is that they said that they want all of their big titles to be on the Switch, and that they consider Smash Brothers to be one of those franchises. It's the only time Nintendo has ever publicly commented on the possibility of anything new happening in Smash Brothers, the franchise. I think, you know, regardless of who may or may not be part of a Smash Brothers title in the future. It's going to happen eventually, and I think we're starting to see the growing pains of Smash 4. Viewership has gone down, more Bayonettas are triggering people. So whether you agree or disagree with balance in the game, I think we would all like a new Smash Brothers. You know, it's been a while. We would like to have it on the Switch, the super popular console. I think that has a lot to do with it as well. The fact that Smash 4 is on the Wii U, which, you know, they've completely abandoned. The only thing they've ever done to the Wii U since the Switch came out was like make it harder to like mod skins on Smash 4 and things like that. Even though there has been workarounds since then. But like that's the only update that console has like gotten since the Switch. So, you know, it being a unpopular console definitely doesn't help Smash 4 and the support it might have gotten if the Wii U was a bigger success. Of course, if it was, you know, a bigger success, maybe the Switch wouldn't even be out right now because they would have no reason to kind of quote-unquote start over, you know, in the console race. But I think we can expect a Smash title sometime in the future. I don't expect one right now. They could announce one at E3 for the Switch. You know, it could be a Smash 4 remake. Hell, it could be Melee HD. I doubt either of those things are going to happen, but those are possibilities, and I don't know because my dad doesn't work at Nintendo because I'm not somebody who lies online. So, you know, I think something will change in the future. I don't think that change is going to be within Smash 4. I do think Bayonetta should be changed, but as she stands right now, take a look at the amount of times we see her in top 8, the amount of times we see her in winners and losers and grand finals, and the amount of times we see her win a major or even regionals, it's just nowhere near Brawl Meta Knight or Melee Fox. And I think that really kind of shows some hypocrisy within the fan base. Not to say that we are in a perfect version of the Smash world, and Cloud is incredibly strong. I would like to see some nerfs to him as well. For instance, I think his dash attack is just way too freaking strong. But obviously none of that is up to me. If Bayonetta in singles and Cloud doubles does become an even bigger problem, and I think you could argue that Cloud in doubles is a bigger problem because I want to say that maybe not 100%, but close to 100% of all doubles titles have come with at least one Cloud on the team. So while you could say that certain characters are the best in doubles, when one character is always on that team and they don't have the same representation in singles, it just goes to show how much stronger that they are in doubles than any other character in the game. So whether tournament organizers want to constitute Cloud doubles bans or Bayo singles bans is completely up to them, and they will make those choices based off of, you know, financial reasons, interest in their tournament, attendance, which has gone up. Attendance in person in many tourneys has gone up, while, you know, viewership on Twitch has gone down year over year in certain tournaments, but it still does fairly well. We are still getting major esports teams sponsoring players. Salem was just picked up by Liquid. That's a huge get for them. DeBuzz has been a free agent for a while. That's even his Twitter handle. It's free agent DeBuzz, I think. And I'm sure he'll get picked up once he, you know, someone that he feels is worthy of him and his brand gives him a shot. That I think that will happen. So the esport of Smash 4 isn't going anywhere. I don't think it's getting hurt specifically by Bayonetta or Cloud in doubles. And I realize, you know, not as many people are as passionate about doubles. I certainly am not, even though I do enjoy watching it from time to time. I'll always make sure I see singles, but not so much doubles. Bayonetta is a contributing factor to some people. You can't tell people that you aren't watching because you don't like Bayonettas, or you don't turn off the stream once you you know, a certain point in the tournament comes to where there's just too many Bayos or your favorite player leaves. We can't tell them that they aren't feeling what they are feeling. And obviously, the players have voiced their opinions on Bayonetta in the game. Obviously, people are attacking Bayonetta players, which is never the right answer because they're Smash players first and human beings first, and they aren't controlling how the game is balanced. They're trying to make a living, so if Nairo does decide to pick up Bayonetta to win more tournaments, I can't blame him. I'll probably still watch the majority of tournaments because I like the game, but let's just be thankful for what we have, Marvel is not at EVO, but Smash 4 still is. And people are hating on players, hating on tournament organizers, and hating on a character in a game. But I think we really need to, sit back and really evaluate what is actually happening. This is the first time ever that I think Bayonetta has been 3 of the top 4 spot, and in fact I know that because I make videos about almost every major tournament out there, and I watch them all as well, so I know what I'm talking about. My memory isn't that bad, but some of the players have some trouble with the character, and obviously there are some balance issues with Bayonetta, and I'll think we're alone in that. But if more top 8s see more Bayonettas, maybe viewership goes down, but people are still trying to win at the end of the day. Otherwise, we wouldn't see, a bunch of Foxes in Melee, and we wouldn't see, even to this day, when there are Brawl tournaments. Anti won when he won his last tournament in Smash 4. He also that was Get On My Level. He also won Brawl with Meta Knight. So people will still use Meta Knight in Brawl, people will still use Fox in Melee, people still don't seem to have much problem with them. Obviously more people have a problem with Brawl Meta Knight than Melee Fox, but Bayonetta isn't a problem yet. I said that before in the last video where we talked about the potential banning of Bayonetta, and I think we can stick with that. Even if Bayonetta gets somewhere near that level, which I don't think she will, for various reasons, because people don't want to play that character because they like their character, they think their character has the potential to be better, or obviously the matchups, the meta is ever evolving, ever shifting. I'll get to see that a lot with people who play a lot of characters like Anti, or especially Leo, who was killing everybody with Marth for a brief period, and then he goes to Cloud and consistently beats majority people, and has brought out the Corrin for certain matchups, including some Bayonettas in the past, and as well as bringing back his Meta Knight and winning big tournaments as well. So Leo and Nairo and DeBuzz are still going to be winning most of these tournaments. Salem is going to win a few, but Bayonetta is not a problem. After seeing 1 tournament or 2 tournaments in a row where Bayonetta does well or has great representation, does not translate to this character is killing the game, because it's not. If you think the game is dying, there is some evidence to support that because it's not doing as well, but it's still doing fairly well, and I think one character isn't going to take down this game, and if signs point to her possibly doing that, the community will take steps to keep this community going. People still play PM, people still play Melee. It's been a grassroots, home-brewed community from the get-go. Melee was out for years before people were starting to see it at big tournaments, and is still here to this day in big tournaments. It's getting a Sunday Evo spot after being out for over a decade because people support the game, they play the game, more people are getting into the game every year. You could say Brawl died and is buried, and PM died and is buried, but I don't see Smash 4 going towards that route unless a new Smash title comes out. So those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. If you liked or disliked the video, there are buttons down below to let me know about that, as well as the comment section to further some opinions that you may have on the character or on the game and the meta as a whole. Anyways, that's been the video, folks. Thank you all for listening, and I'll talk to you guys next time.